Hi everyone, welcome back to my Chanel. Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to my floor. I am absolutely dying. All my UK and European people should know we are having like a little, it's like a heat wave, but like also like moisture, damp, humid. So it's like a sweat wave. I've got a little fan so I don't die, because my fan, like my electric fans, are creating a lot of background noise, so don't mind me just looking camp as hell on the floor with a cat in the background. Long intro, I apologize. Today we're going to be looking into a couple of stories too, because they're quite long, of terrible workplaces. Mostly because I saw one of the stories and really want to talk about it. I'm going to keep everyone anonymous because I don't want anyone getting in trouble, and let's get into it. Let's get sweaty, babies. The one that I saw, believe it or not, is from the magical, majestic place of Facebook. I'm just going to start reading. I'm not gonna dox anyone, I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want anyone getting in trouble. I found this, okay? Wasn't going to make this post, but as I've seen they're hiring again on Indeed, I want to warn people. Do not work at... I'm going to decide if I want to add the place or not. Post edit. If I've decided to edit it out, do not work at this place. I don't want to dox any of the workers, I don't want to get anyone in trouble. They also added the address. They doxed. These people are completely incompetent of running a business. I worked there just short of 3 months over the summer. That is a fast turnaround for a business. And only received some form of payment 3 weeks ago. This was sent 28th of April 2025. So they worked in the summer and they only just got paid in the start of autumn. And even that was wrong. So they got the wrong amount of pay, I'm assuming underpaid, for 3 months, and they didn't get paid on time. The owner lied about being in a coma to not pay us. It's too warm for this shit. The owner lied about being in a coma to not pay us when he was actually in Dubai. Of course he was in Dubai. They're always in Dubai. You don't pay tax in Dubai. He took their wages, buggered off to Dubai, and pretended to be in a coma. This little shit. I'm not gonna say who they are, but I love this person. They are spilling the tea. They hire people with the intent of not paying them, and then use their wages to bribe them to come in. This has affected us really badly, and I don't want this happening to anyone else. As of now, they have blocked me on everything, as I put comments up everywhere warning people of this place. I love this person's pettiness. This is amazing, just doxing the company to save people the stress of this. The only people who were paid properly were management. Oh, what a big surprise. And one staff member who is dating management. That is a disgusting abuse of your power, manager. Just know, I know of this place that they're on about. It's near where I travel. They only hire young people. This has gone through ACAS, which is like a UK thing to deal with like payments and all that stuff. And we're in the process of getting all the money owed to everyone who didn't receive it, but please do not work here. So only the corporate was paid. They only made sure to pay themselves and the other managers and like front of house and that. And this one person who the manager was dating, which is, again, an extreme abuse of their power. They say a staff member who was dating management, they never said that it was the manager's partner, meaning they probably started dating after they were employed. Like, you've got to pay attention to the words here. Thank you so much for giving this the attention it has gotten. I really appreciate it, and I know everyone else going through it does too. God. Your manager faked a coma and just went on holiday to Dubai using your wages that you had to fight ACAS for. I don't know what ACAS stands for, but I know that ACAS, you usually go to it if you're working for a company that has gone into debt, gone into bankruptcy or into liquidation, and you physically cannot get paid. Like, ACAS deal with that stuff. It's bad if they have to go through ACAS. The manager abusing his power to force people to come in for free, which is a breach of contract and pretty much illegal because it is slave labor, because you are only going in to get paid, you agree to get paid, you are contracted to get paid, yet you are working for free without the agreement of working for free, and abusing his power to get someone to date him. I'm gonna look into the comments real quick. Don't work for or support this establishment. My 18-year-old stepson worked here for 2 months. 2 months. This turnaround rate is bad. 3 months, 2 months. July to August and hasn't been paid. Countless emails and phone calls to management. First, the owner was in hospital and couldn't do payroll. I doubt it, considering he said he was in a coma but was actually in Dubai. Then pay slips were issued but no payment made. Sneaky, sending pay slips without the payment, okay. They also tried to get him to carry on working on the promise of being paid. Unfortunately, it looks like he's not the only person to experience this. Shame on you for exploiting young people, or shame on the company. I'm not someone who normally leaves reviews, but I'd hate for anyone else to have this happen to them. Look me up if anyone wants more info on my recent Google review. I will find the Google review. It's happened to multiple people, so it's not just like a cute little story. Not cute. I will read the reviews after this segment. I'm just going to keep reading some comments and then I'll go to the reviews so you can see what this lovely lady has to say. This is the truth. I also used to work at this place. I would never suggest to anyone to work there. So many things happened behind closed doors they were trying to hide. Staff wasn't paid when they said they would be. Sometimes took well over a month to 3 months to get wages. Trying to use people's earned wages to bribe us back into work. They've breached their own contracts. Do not work here or support this business. Employment Tribunal Court is your remedy. No, it's not. It takes at least 2 years. Lied about being in a coma to avoid paying his staff. That's insane behaviour. I'm sorry. And then author, it's crazy. He showed up 4 days later for a meeting and was totally okay. Jesus. He showed up to work after saying he was in a coma and he was completely fine. Oh my god. And now we move on to the reviews. I've filtered them by the lowest reviews just so we can see what it's about. Some people only see one part. There's quite a few actually. Let me find this lady who said to check her Google review. There's responses for every single one. I don't think any of our 12-person party will be going back here again. Majority of staff were not very welcoming and reluctant to provide a friendly service. Seemed annoyed we were even there in the first place, even though we pre-booked and showed up on time. One of our booked games was shuffleboard and the staff couldn't explain how to play it. When was this? 6 months ago. One of our party politely asked for a slice of lime in her drink. The server used their hands. Contamination. We were asked multiple times by staff to give them 5-star. The staff asked for a 5-star review. Alright, that's just dirty. For a 5-star review so they could win an international competition. Alright, that's just dirty. Service 1 out of 5. Don't waste your money. We came to open night last night in the event space and was shocked at the bar staff. We felt like we were a nuisance when being served, like they didn't want us being there. Shame we had to come from Unit 9, where it's the exact opposite. I'm assuming that's another place. Service 1 out of 5. Response from the owner. Thank you for your feedback. We have also passed on the information of your Google review with the links to Unit 9 that you have. Why would you do that? We are discussing it with the team whose events were being held. How would you do that? It has nothing. This is a review against you, not them. Came with a large group and despite booking well in advance, we waited ages to get drinks and games set up. I also got a personal booking that I emailed a cancel request within 24 hours of making the booking and followed it up twice for a refund and had no contact. This place could be good, but it's not got good customer service. 1 out of 5 service. Update. Hello. Thank you for forwarding me these. I have now responded and hopefully addressed the problem and result. I look forward to hearing from you. And then he signed it with his name. If you could please forward me your email. Okay, that was just an update. Emailed with a complaint but had no feedback from management. Door staff threaten SA. Response, Daniel, we have not received an email from you. Feel free to email our general manager and they put the email and we will get back to you. This is bad. Staff are very friendly and engaging, however, the management are not always as friendly as their staff, are not always friendly to their staff. Came in the other weekend and saw a member of staff crying near the entrance. Beer was flat and warm, like they don't clean the lines. It's not worth the hassle. There's definitely other places in the area worth a visit, not impressed. 2 staff members with 50 people, shocking service as the company does not want to pay for more staff. Not sure how to phrase this. First time we were late, so only got 45 minutes of an hour, which I guess is fair. As the slot was booked after a second visit, we were really early and got 45 minutes of the hour, as the previous people were overrunning. Huh, consistent? Not really. Also bought a Coke for about £3.30. Hey, whoa. And had about 2/3 of a half-pint glass from the tap, not a bottle. That's a bit okay, right. UK pricing, that's a little steep for 2/3 of a half-pint glass. You'd expect a full Coke at that price. I requested not to have ice. Apparently if you top it up with ice, you don't get a full glass. Called in with a few friends for a few drinks and to watch footy. Ordered a cider and a pint of Coca-Cola. In total, it was just short of a tenner. Wait, for a cider and a Coke? Ugh. The issue there is that I was given a full pint of ice, which meant when I removed it, there was only half a pint. Oh, so they put a crap ton of ice in it and it was just that much left. Online and in-store was informed it closes at 11, paid for pool table and drinks, and the supervisor told us to leave an hour prior to closing. Made up an excuse about if it's busy or dead, depends on when they close. Yeah, that wasn't disclosed. Okay, so it's just about it all being wrong online. Don't book here, no way of cancelling or get your money back. I'm just reading, and it's all the same thing. It's kind of like a big scam. I've spent too long reading these reviews. There's hundreds. There's so many reviews on this, it's bad. I don't want to dox the place, but if the place knows who it is, and the place ever comes across this video, fire your staff. Fire your staff and get people who do not threaten SA against customers or staff. And don't fake a coma to get out of paying your customers. I'm going to move on to one more story before I eventually melt into a puddle of goo. Right, so it doesn't look like I'm just targeting the one place. I'm going to react to another story. This one's just from Reddit. Toxic workplace F's around. Tomorrow they find out. So I work for a private healthcare company in the UK. Another UK story. Oh. I'm in their IT team as a data engineer, earning below average for the role. I don't think that's legal. In the UK, I do not think that's legal. Below average for the role. I think you have to get minimum wage. Unless that's what you mean, you're getting barely minimum wage and then the average is above minimum wage. When I came on board, I was told about what show the company IT was and how we were building it from the ground up. It sounded like a fun challenge where I'd get to carve out my own role and do some exciting stuff with APIs and data connections, which, sad as it is, I kinda live for in work. It's not sad, bestie. It's fun to have like that kind of work ethic, and people need people like you. So flash forward about 10 months. They abbreviated it, so I was a bit confused. We've gone through 5 members of staff who couldn't get on with the asshat director, whose priorities seemed to be making sure all the documentation was right in the right font, rather than the speedy delivery that needed to happen on projects. Literally, we've gone through 10 iterations of our templates, and every meeting we have with him changed. Okay, look. Right, you work in healthcare. Have you seen doctors' handwriting? Literally, as long as it's in Comic Sans and you can read it, and you know what it says, who cares? Why does it have to be the right font? You're in IT, it's gonna go through a computer anyway. The font doesn't matter, as long as it's not in like that death metal band logo font. He threatens everyone's jobs basically weekly, and the whole team is demonstrated and demoralized and looking for an exit. At the same time, I've been loaded with responsibility for the first line support, business analysis and technical setup on site. There are about 15 offices scattered around the country. I have to drive to each of them, deliver training, and then do configuration and I'm sorry, it's a bit of a struggle. I'm basically doing the work of 3 people. I thought that was going to change when they said they'd hire a support tech, but douchebag stopped recruitment literally a day after we'd interviewed a candidate we were going to offer the job to. It's just like the last story. They'd rather just like overwork and underpay staff rather than spend like an extra few pound on hiring someone. It's ridiculous, and then they're just money hungry. As long as the profits look good and they get more money, That's all they care about. So now there's at least 3 staff looking to leave, including me. I'm their only technical resource. So if I go, they can kiss goodbye all their major Q4 23 and Q1 24 projects. Tomorrow I'm putting my notice in. When they get it, I'm expecting them to absolutely crap themselves. I literally can't wait, XD. XD. Alright, you're a furry, I know. All IT guys are furries, if you didn't know. Now you do. We do have an update. Oh, I could do the Smosh update. Edit update. That escalated quickly. So yesterday I came in and found out my line manager handed in his notice. Oh, the line manager. So I turned around and immediately handed it. Oh, you're all doing that at the same time. That's amazing. Oh, that's inspirational. Didn't hear much about it for the rest of Monday. Hence no update yesterday. But today it hit the roof. I had my exit. Ugh, I hate exit interviews. They're absolutely pointless and they do nothing except maybe tell them why they're a piece of shit. I had my exit interview, but before that, douchebag called me into a room and literally offered me whatever I wanted. It was hugely pleasurable to say there was nothing he could give me. I mean, all he could give you was in the past. Unless he can get a time machine and fix everything, which is impossible. When I sat down with HR, I went through everything in detail. The bullying, the harassment, threatening people's jobs, belittling them, the petty pedantry. But the biggest explosion came when I showed them some emails from another colleague he sacked after only a few weeks, effectively proving that he fired them just because they complained about his behaviour. It does sound like the manager of the other place. If your place of employment has a fast turnaround, find a better job. Fast turnaround is a red flag. Unless that is the aim, to get people into better jobs, which I doubt any businesses have that. A fast turnaround is a red flag in a job. Now, as I found out, there is a queue of people who've raised complaints in the last 6 months, and HR have been building a fairly extensive file to present to the CEO. Since my manager and I resigned, they've escalated it, and now they're thinking they might have to inform the investors about it. This is why the NHS is messed up. I am joking. So basically, my resignation instigated Palace Coop. I have no idea what that means. And it sounds like douchebag is toast. And not the good toast, like the burnt toast you have to scrape off the burnt bits off. If they sacked him, and they also agreed to what I want, like a 10k pay rise with 100% work from home. Sorry, they're abbreviating everything and I'm struggling. My tiny monkey brain. I might consider staying, but I'll have to just wait for another few days and find out how hard they intend to mess him up. Whether it will be with or without lubricant. This is a very Reddit story. I am trying to censor a few things, but this is a very Reddit written story. Either way, his IT strategy for next year is now totally... It's so Reddit. It's totally effed to death. They didn't use effed, they used a different terminology, which involves a fist. And it's looking more and more like he's about to have an absolutely miserable Christmas as a sad, unemployed, and unemployable old man. I don't know why that made me feel bad, because he's literally been like a meanie to you, and he's like ruined your career, and well, not career, but he's ruined your life for the last few years. But seeing that sentence, I'm like, oh, just an empath. I'm also really short, so I'm like not appealing to anyone. Edit, further update. No suspense on this channel. So I called in sick last week because I really couldn't be bothered dealing with any petty retaliation. So I've been out for the last few days and I'm still off today. I mean, you're up to like 14 days sick leave in the UK. Paid as well. I heard though that the CEO booked a meeting with douchebag, but he declined. Now she wants someone from HR to be present in every meeting he has with any member of staff. All that bad, yeah? And I have a really good feeling he'll be leaving the building at the end of the week, with all of the stuff piled on him in an Iron Mountain box. I'm sorry, some of this just doesn't make sense. I think I'm either chronically offline in terms of Reddit, or some of this English terminology has just gone over my head. I can't wait. Oh yeah, and because of some of the offhand jokes I made last week about sticking around for the day rate, douchebag genuinely thinks I'm not leaving and they'll offer me a 6-month contract on $400 a day. Huh. It means they're not recruiting to replace me, so come January, they'll have absolutely no one to take over. Update again. This one could be my last update. We'll see how this week shakes out. So the headline is found out on a Teams meeting this morning that douchebag got sacked. Deserved. Sadly not before he binned 2 other members of my team. Dude, you got no power. You're being investigated for being the biggest pile of dukes, and you're still trying to fire people. This is like if Trump had to run corporate. This is like the stuff he'd be doing. Sadly, not before he binned 2 members of my team before Christmas. This is the nightmare before Christmas, not the good kind. But we've now all formed a pretty good ex-employee post-traumatic job disorder support group. What the hell? So yeah, he's gone. My Palace Cube. What is a Palace Cube? I could Google it, or I could ask for engagement in my comments. And my job is safe if I want it. I was offered another job that's a bit more senior with another company, so I'm gonna ask for a management role. I hope you got it. This is an older post, so I do hope you got it. And more money if they want to keep me. I'll let you guys know what they say in a final update next week, if I decide to stay, or I tell them where to stick it. Final update. It's been a couple of months, sorry for not letting you guys know how it all planned out, but it was a bit nuts. Not least someone involved. I honestly don't know who, apparently leaked info and made some very unkind comments online which I got called into a meeting about, but wasn't held responsible for, so I figured it'd be safer if I just said nothing for a while. Oh, someone found it! A few days before the end of my notice, I was offered an above-inflation pay rise and a more senior role in the team. I didn't even have to ask, which I appreciated. Given that I claimed my scalp already, and I quite like the people they've brought onto the team now, who've actually managed to stay in their jobs for this long, I took the deal. I finally replaced douchebag, and the new guy seems alright. Oh, they have. For now, my biggest gripe is not getting to work from home as much as I wanted. Oh yeah, this was probably like just after COVID, but that's something I'll wear the new guy down on eventually. I mean, I hope you get it. Work from home is probably the best thing, especially if you're like pet parent, cat parent, parent. So yeah, I caved into the capitalism and I feel dirty, but at least I can still pay my rent. Don't feel dirty. You did some petty revenge and got someone fired who deserved it. And at the end of the day, you've got the pay you deserve, you've got an increase, and you got a better job. I mean, it's still the same job, but you got a better job position. So you can't really be mad, can you? I'm glad to hear that they got the senior role. And I'm hoping that they're actually getting the average or above average pay. Because working for a minimum wage when your job is one of the most important jobs in the healthcare. Healthcare is important, but you know what I mean, like you're keeping the healthcare system afloat. I don't know what I'm saying. My brain is literally like melted bubblegum on a pavement right now. Don't feel icky about caving to capitalism. You gotta pay the rent, and if your skills pay the bills, then go for it, bestie. I think when it comes to managers and positions in jobs, people get money hungry. They see how much money they could have and just take it out of pay as though you're disposable. But as you proved here, you're not disposable, because you could have just left and had no one there. You can just leave a job. These exit interview things are stupid. You know, one day you could just not show up to work. You legally have to get paid for the work that you've done, and you could just not show up and like, yeah, I quit. Why hand in your 2 weeks when you could just quit on the spot? What are you gonna do, get arrested for not showing up to a job? What are they gonna do, fire you? Mate, you're quitting. They legally have to pay you for the work that you did, because you get paid in not in advance, but the other term of that, whatever it is it arrears? Whatever. If you don't show up, they can't fire you if you've quit. Big brain. Yeah, I just wanted to explore the toxic workplaces, but mostly the first one, because I'd heard about the place and heard about whispers of that place not being the best, people not getting paid at all, people getting paid late when, you know, they got bills to pay, and like this person in the second story said, got rent to pay, managers using their position to abuse employees and get what they want, which includes dating 19-year-olds. I forgot to mention the girl was 19. I did know that part. I just wanted to share it with you. She's 19 and I think pregnant now with his child, but I don't know if she's there. I don't know if it's the current manager. Most likely is. Current manager also doesn't pay the colleagues on time. Current manager is still a piece of crap. Pay your employees, because they can just leave and you'll be effed up completely and you'll be left with no workers. And look out for turnover rates. If people are getting fired super quick, look into it. It's a red flag. Don't work for someone who has a high employee turnover rate. And I'll see you in my next video. Hopefully less sweaty and not on my floor. Bye, besties.